Right, well, welcome everyone to this afternoon's presentation of the 2017 Mumbulla Foundation grants. My name is Gary Potts. I'm Chair of the Foundation, and joining me this afternoon is Councillor Joe Dodds. Welcome, Joe, and thank you very much for coming. This particular program, as many of you would know, I think, is a partnership between the Foundation and the Council financially. They support us each year very generously, so we are indeed very pleased that Joe can be with us this afternoon. And so what we'll do is I'll ask Joe to say just a few words to begin with, and following that I'll say a few more on behalf of the Foundation, and then we'll do what you're all here for, and that is present you with the cheques for your little project for the coming 12 months or so. So Joe, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Firstly, I just wanted to acknowledge that we are here in this place, the lands and waters of the Yuin Nation, and also to acknowledge the elders past and present and those who are emerging wonderfully into this community today. It's so nice to know that there's such a strong partnership between the Mumbulla Foundation and Council, because I think the Foundation supports the work that Council does and vice versa in a really neat match. And I really wanted to acknowledge that without the work of volunteers, particularly in rural areas, we would not have the community that we have. We have in this Shire one of the highest rates of volunteering in New South Wales. So it's wonderful to have a program like this that both recognises and supports more people to do more good work in this Shire, and certainly Council couldn't deliver half the services that we have a finger in without the work of all those volunteers and the people in the Foundation. So congratulations to the Mumbulla Foundation. Many thanks to you, and congratulations to all the winners of, I don't know, do we call them winners? Recipients. You are all winners, recipients of the grants today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Well, today is important for you, but it's also important for the Foundation because it is the culmination of our year's work, if you like. We work quite hard and steadily through the year to raise money for the sole purpose, really, of giving it back to the community in the grants at the end of the year. And so that's what we're doing today, and we, of course, extend our congratulations to you. But also, I would like you to be mindful of the very generous support that we receive through the community from private individuals by way of donations, from businesses by way of donations or sponsorship, because without that support you wouldn't be here this afternoon, basically. So take a minute or two to remember that when you're working on your projects next year. This year we were very pleased with the number and quality of the applications we received. In total, more than $170,000 was applied for more than 45 organisations, and the quality was very high, so we were able to narrow it down to a smaller body of roughly half that number. And we, in total, will be giving something like $70,000. So the quality is very high. We're very pleased with that because we want the program to keep going, not just in terms of the number of dollars we spend, but also the sorts of projects that we support. Because, as Joe was saying, I think this sort of activity and programs in regional areas like the Bega Valley is very, very important when you compare the situation here with the situation in capital cities, for instance, where there's a lot more funding available for community activities than there is in an area like the Bega Valley. So one very interesting statistic, for instance, that the average income in the Bega Valley area is 30% below the state average of New South Wales. So it gives you an idea in two ways. One is it's more difficult to raise money, obviously, but B, I think giving out grants to community groups as we are this afternoon is all the more important because of that overall situation. So, look, that's enough from me about the foundation. We will be giving out the cheques individually, and we do ask you in return for the cheque to say a few words, 2 or 3 minutes at most, about your organisation and what the money will be used for. So thank you very much in advance, and we'll get underway. So the first one is the Bega Valley Shire Library for a 4-week course designed for preschoolers. Do we have someone here?
Gary.
Thanks. There we are.
And now after that I get to speak. Thank you very much, everybody. So on behalf of the Sapphire Coast Regional Science Hub and the Bega Valley Shire Libraries, I'd like to thank you for this cheque. So this grant is going to enable the Bega Valley Shire Libraries to deliver an ongoing program for preschoolers aged 3 to 5 and children in early primary school for the science discovery program called Little Bangs. And this is something that was developed by the Children's Discovery Museum in Sydney to kind of run on the coattails of the STEM initiative that's happening across the country. So if you don't know what STEM is science, technology, engineering and maths. And the Bega Valley Shire Library is proud to kind of work with those disciplines in the Shire, and this is the kind of the next level of extension that we'll be able to do. This funding will specifically be for what are called discovery boxes, which are kits that each of the participants of the program get. They use those within the sessions that happen at the library, one afternoon a week for 4 weeks, but they also get to take these kits home. So the kids are able to experiment with a number of different items that are inside these boxes with their parents or their carers in their own kind of space. There's no acid or other dangerous substances. There's no kind of blowing up or putting Mentos in Coke bottles, but there's enough kind of things to engage the kids and to hopefully get them on their path of lifelong learning and to get them engaged with science. So thank you very much.
Okay, we move on. The Bermagui Community Forum, and I think this is for an upgraded PA system. Congratulations. There's your chair.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deborah Cushion from the Bermagui Community Forum. We started this year with a bit of a bang in a whole lot of ways. We've really taken on some fairly big issues within the Bermagui community, and it's really important to us. The forum itself... Sorry, I will put my glasses on. Sorry. The forum itself was set up to provide an opportunity for grassroots feedback on important issues. It's a democracy in action. It's people coming along to have their say, and people really do get up and have their say, believe me. We have met a couple of times this year, and as well as we also held a street meeting, which was interesting in its own right. We're doing more of those. We sought assistance from Mumbulla for a very prosaic reason. We wanted one of these without that. Yeah. We wanted a walking mic, if you like, a roaming mic, for our forum meetings in particular and for other meetings that we might hold. We're also more than willing to share it with other like-minded organisations in the community, and we think there will be quite a demand for it. Thank you.
We might borrow it next year, Deborah. Okay. The Bermagui Public School for a gardening convergence one-day event. Thank you. Yep. Fantastic. Going with it? Yeah, great. There you are. There's a check.
Oh, wonderful. This is the second year we've been supported with this event, thanks to Mumbulla and a host of other organisations. It's a convergence of many different ideas, groups of people and skills, and a whole lot of sharing that takes place principally once a year at a host school, with invitations going out for the potential for 10 or 11 other schools to send about a carload of students each. The students don't drive themselves, but they come out with a teacher or a teacher's aide or a really keen parent, and more the schools are actually sending fully paid, like on the clock teachers to come and share their skills and their stories about what's going on in their own sustainability projects back in their schools, and also to celebrate what that particular host school might be doing. So usually I choose a school that's really paving the way, a model school, a leader school that has something particular to show off. So it's quite fitting that I've just rushed from the last day at Eden Public School, which held the inaugural event 2 years ago, and that was such a success, a messy success, and we tidied that up beautifully at Mumbulla this year, and we're moving on to Bermuda. We had 3 schools put their hands up to host it, and it looks like we're probably going to have to be possibly knocking a few schools back from attending next year. So the host school principally offers a range of rotational activities or workshops, I might call them. And so, for example, last year, at the previous event at Mumbulla, we ran a workshop on hugel culture, natural string making using indigenous and natural textiles, thanks to the Wyndham Weavers, who have been coming along to each event. They're so supportive. And a few other permaculture teachers being involved in the hugel culture, which is an underground composting technique. And I built an earthen wall for the first time using almost 90% waste materials to walk away and leave that school. The host school always is the recipient of a great gift and a heck of a lot of energy, hands-on energy. So many people come in and are involved. It's great to have Mumbulla on board. I'm sure you'll be getting another application from me for the next one. But yeah, every little bit helps, and it goes a long way in this type of programming. So yeah, thank you very much.
Very good, thank you. You might pick up some business this afternoon too, you never know. The Bermuda and District Seniors Club. We have a representative here. All right. The Cabago Preschool. Yes. Great. Kitchen improvements? Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. So Cabago Preschool is obviously a preschool for 3 to 5 year olds, and they've been doing a lot of cooking. So stacks and stacks of cooking, but the stove's about, 50 years old or something. They want to upgrade it. They also want a dishwasher and a couple of other things, but this is going to go a long way towards that. So thank you very much.
The Far South Coast Maternity Action Group. Advisory. I'm sorry. It's missed. I did read it correctly. Well done. Thank you.
So thank you very much. We were the recipients of a grant last year also. And with that grant we worked together as a group to provide some maternal loss packs for women who came to the South East Regional Hospital after the loss of a baby. So they have been very well utilised. So we're going to go on with that project. And we also had another project this year in conjunction with Are You OK Day, where we held an event down at the Frank Marr Pavilion at Mumbulla and gave information to new mothers and women in the community about depression, anxiety, all of that type of thing. And that was really well attended, which was great. So we hope to continue that into the new year.
Okay. The Gillette Rural Fire Service. Good. Suitably attired too. Gillette, sorry. Oh, it was Gillette.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of Gillette RFS, I'd like to thank Mumbulla for this cheque. This year it's for a smart TV, which will be used in our training, which should be and will be a great asset for us, allowing us to basically further and grow our younger people in the crew that we have. Able to access the internet. Probably at times we should be able to get live updates as well, so it's a real enhancement for what we're all about. If we can get better at what we do, we can help you better. So thank you very much.
Now, I think you had your 75th anniversary this year? And well done. And I think you had the Commissioner down here, did you?
Yes, we did.
Wow, impressive.
Very good night.
Okay. The Mumbulla Imlay Historical Society. Congratulations. Very good.
We operate the Old School Museum in Mumbulla, and the Historical Society had its 50th anniversary this year. We have applied for this grant and been successful. It's to purchase an overhead projector, a wireless one, so that we can take it off-site and take our collection out to the community a bit more, because it's very difficult to get people to actually come to a museum for some reason. So we got the result of better. We have a bridge project underway where all of the bridges, the history of the bridges in the Bega Valley have been recorded and photographed and documented, and that will be completed in February. And that's one of the first things that we want to use this for, is to actually get a lot of people to come along for evenings and show them all of this research that's been done. My wife here is the curator, and Liz is putting together at the moment an exhibition of the conversion to decimal currency, which we think is, well, it's actually shaping up to be a lot of fun. So if you want to come along and learn about pounds, shillings and pence, come along to the Old School Museum in the new year. We're also going to be supporting local schools. We have written to the 3 main schools in our area, and we're asking for details of their local history curriculum, and once again we'll be using this equipment to get out there and get in amongst that. It also will give us the facility to be able to present more in the very confined space that we've got. We can actually have exhibits rolling and rolling and rolling on a screen, whereas we're just a schoolhouse and there's nowhere to go, so we've got no space. And I'd like to thank the Mumbulla Foundation for making all of this possible. We have been successful in the past. We had a great last year to put on a curating your collection event, which involved museums all the way from Cooma to Malakuta to Bermagui. So it was really good, and we really thank you very much for your support. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Murrah Hall. We have someone from Murrah Hall here?
Do indeed.
Oh, excellent. You can tell us all about this one.
This is in fact our third grant that we've received. The first grant was for theatre lights. The second grant was for chairs. This grant is for cooking pots and pans. Now, what I want to point out to you is that if we had not received those two previous grants, the Murrah Hall would not be today what it is. There would be a light bulb and a floor. So we're really, really, really grateful. The pots started off as a kind of a duty of care thing because we were having functions and shows and stuff like that. And that's kind of become an institution, so that for years and years and years we've been doing Murrah curries. And now's the time for someone else's pots. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations and great entertainment. South Coast Women's Journal. Well done. Congratulations. There we are.
Lovely. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Linda Albertson and I'm representing the South Coast Women's Journal. You may not have heard of us because we're quite new, only having formed earlier this year. The South Coast Women's Journal was formed in the hope of creating a space for women to express themselves through words and imagery. Mnemosyne is the name that we have given to our flagship publication. However, we are still working on getting that off the ground, but we've been persevering, and in a short time we have managed to create an online space for women, and that's via our fortnightly flash fiction website or blog. And we've also created a tangible space in the form of a sister publication called Muse, there we are, which is a zine. So Muse was launched just last month at Candelo Bookshops, and we were absolutely thrilled. We had an audience of 50 people, so we were really gratified to get that level of community support so early on in our life. And basically it showcases work from our flash fiction contributors, so that's poetry, photography and artwork as well. And our aim is to produce something like this on a quarterly basis. With the money generously granted us by Mumbulla Foundation, thank you, we intend to run a full day of seminars and workshops which will enable women of all ages to build their skills in writing and editing and photography and art. And we hope that this day will generate further content for our future publications. But most of all, we really hope that this day builds confidence in the women who attend and empowers them to share their stories and research, their creativity and their experiences and ideas through publication. We wholeheartedly thank the Mumbulla Foundation for their support of South Coast women, and we're very excited to be able to look forward to 2018 with new goals to support local women. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Stonewave Tyco drum protection. You'll have to tell us about this. Yeah. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Me.
Right.
So we're representing Stonewave Taiko, which is a local group dedicated to the traditional Japanese art of drumming. So we get together and we bash very large drums and have a really good time. But we also move around, and we need this money will go towards getting proper covers for the taiko, which are at present housed in old sleeping bags and a couple of old blankets. So this money will keep them safe while we travel around. And if anybody's in Naruma Kinema on the 20th of January, we are giving a concert. You'll see the taiko, but not the covers. Thank you.
The Women's Resource Centre. Congratulations.
I've just written it down, it's easier. So the Women's Resource Centre is a feminist organisation that empowers women to make informed choices by providing them with information, education, referral, advocacy and support. We created the Balance Project for the benefit of women who are experiencing one or more of the following: mental and or physical health issues, social isolation, recovering from domestic violence or unemployed. And we want to offer a series of workshops to help women gain some balance in their lives and improve the quality of their physical and mental health whilst breaking social isolation and developing new support networks. The project aims to increase participants' confidence and improve their self-determination and wellbeing. And the 4 workshops we're planning to run are women's boxing, yoga, gardening and art, painting with Annie Franklin. So the women love these workshops and they're always asking us to do more, so this gives us the opportunity, so we're really grateful. Appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right, the Atlas of Life. Well done. There you are, a little check for you.
Okay. You might ask why a big database of local, the natural environment here fits in with all this. I'll explain. What we've created is a comprehensive record of the biodiversity of this region. But that's not where it stops. What we're trying to do is encourage everybody in the community to take part in this. And with some of the means we have, is particularly an app called Nature Mapper, anybody can record anything they see, whether it be a plant or an animal or a reptile, and take part in the project. Now, in doing that, what we're doing is people are spending more time finding out about something, they're spending more time in the environment, and they're developing new skills all the time. We have asked for a projector and a screen to go with some of our existing equipment. One of them was a micro-eye microscope, which looks at small things and projects them, which I believe was came from a Mumbulla grant a couple of years ago. What it's enabling us to do is to now take this to community groups, to schools, particularly to schools. We're starting to work with schools more to get more people interested in this project. But we also work closely with other environmental organisations and with government agencies, and they're using our data too. So it's a big project, but it is there for the whole community, and it is developing all the time. And for us, we are like everybody else here, completely a volunteer organisation. To be able to be granted a fund like this is just fantastic. So thank you very much again.
Very good. Bimboka Men's Shed, construction of a hall and kitchen. I think it's assistance in doing that, I think, yes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Well, it's a red letter day for us. The Lions Club at Bimboka has been working for some months now to put together funding to build a men's shed combined with disabled toilets and a meeting room for the Bimboka community. the presentation of this today puts us over the line. We now have enough. So with a couple of other grants from other organisations, we're very, very pleased to say that we've got enough money now to build it, and roughly 50% of the money has come from grants. The other 50% has come from the people of Bemboka. Now, the local people in Bemboka have really stuck their hand in their pocket, and they have raised just as much as we've raised by grants. So it's an extraordinary effort on the part of a very small community in the Bega Valley. And your motto is very apt, give where you live, because the Bemboka people have been sensational in what they've done. Local tradesmen, local suppliers have come to the party, and it has been absolutely brilliant. So what we hope to do with this money and all the rest of the help is we'll be starting our construction at the end of January, early February, hoping to be open for business April next year. Outstanding effort. Thank you very much to the Mumbulla Foundation. As I say, that's got us over the line, so we're very pleased. Thank you very much.
All right, the Bermagui Surf Life Saving Club. Will, this is yours. Bill, congratulations, well done.
Gary just told me to remind you all that Bermagui Surf Club came first in the surf club out of New South Wales, so just a bit of a brag. So Bermagui runs a same wave program which enables individuals and families with disabilities to enjoy the beach, just like you and me. This grant will give us enough money to buy a beach wheelchair, which has a life vest and a seatbelt for safety that can go on the sand and in the water. Yeah, it'll also give us enough money to purchase training boards that are wider and have handles that can give give everyone an opportunity to ride the waves. I'd like to thank you for this, and goodbye.
Great story. The Crossing Land Education Trust. Congratulations, very much. There you are.
Wonderful. So, hello everyone, I'm Annette Turner, and I've lived at the Crossing for nearly 20 years now. And I'd like to really deeply thank the Mumbulla Foundation, but also the Bega Valley Shire Council. They've been long-term partners of the Crossing for quite some time. When I went back through our records, I actually found our first grant was from 2004. Wow. And in 2004, you gave us a small grant which enabled us to run a couple of camps for local young people. And those camps were the precursor of a very successful program that we run now for local young people called Landcare Adventures. And I can see that there are parents here whose young people have been on those courses. So over the years, you've contributed, the Mumbulla Foundation and the Shire have contributed nearly $13,000 to the Crossing. And that's made an enormous difference to what we've been able to do. For those of you who don't know about the Crossing, we're an environmental education centre on the beautiful Bermagui River. We provide programs for young people from the ages of Year 6 through to Year 10, but we also do some adult programs for young people who may have just left school, and also some seriously adult programs like permaculture design or natural beekeeping or deep ecology, lots of different things. We have a variety of things going on at the Crossing, and we involve lots and lots of people. Most people who come to the Crossing leave inspired because we're a demonstration site for permaculture, and we have lots of hands-on opportunities to learn about how to live more sustainably. We've got off-grid power and grey water systems and vegetable gardens and orchards and composting toilets, lots and lots of things. So it's a really inspiring place, and I feel very proud to have been involved with it for such a long time. I wanted to share with you some of the words that young people often leave in our visitors book. I brought our visitors book with us. This is book number 3. It goes from 2013 to now, and I just was scanning through the last 3 months of programs, and there's a variety of young people who've visited us over the last 3 months, students from year 8 through to year 12. And Ben, who was in year 8, said he had an amazing time and learnt so much that could change the world. Matthew in year 8 said, I found the entire camp very fun and it all had a profound effect on me, how I'll live my life and how I will live my life from now on. I hope to see you all when I come back for the Sea to Snow. If you haven't heard of the Sea to Snow, that's our peak experience. Often young people who go through the Landcare adventure end up doing the Sea to Snow, which is a 250-kilometre journey from Bermagui to Kosciuszko National Park. An amazing experience, a leadership experience for young people to undertake. Claire, who's in year 9, said, I've had the best time here at the crossing for the past 9 days. It's been unbelievable. Kyle, in year 10, said the camp has really opened my eyes to new ways of how to do things around my own farm. And some older students, straight out of school, early university. This is PJ. She said, reflecting on this trip, I have many ideas that I want to bring back to my family and friends, plus things I want to work on with myself. Thank you for being so welcoming and inspiring. And finally, Aidan, also around the same age. Everything you do here is so inspirational and truly has changed my view on waste and permaculture. So it's what inspires me, actually, being at the crossing, is being able to drop little stones in ponds, and you never know where those ripples go. I've also been really inspired by the Mumbulla Foundation. I came along to very, very early meetings with Heather O'Connor and watched the fire in her belly to develop the Mumbulla Foundation, and with the help of many people, I think we should be really proud as a region to have such an incredible foundation that gives so much back to our community. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for the kind words about the foundation. Much appreciated, and a great story. And haven't we had some inspirational ones this afternoon? And it gives you sort of heart and sort of reason to go on, doesn't it, really, to hear those stories? All right. Fling Physical Theatre Company. I think you've had a number of grants from us, so.
Well deserved.
Congratulations, Gabby.
Lovely.
Check for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello everyone, my name's Gabrielle Rose and I'm co-artistic director of Fling Physical Theatre and I'm co-director with Rob McCready. So we're a regionally supported youth dance company and we create original contemporary performance with teenagers. We also run a large community engagement program in a way that offers dance and performance classes to the region. We start from 3-year-olds right through to beautiful old people. So this money is going to support a new project called My Black Dog. So working with young people, we deal a lot with the realities of regional life, how tricky it is being a young person, and how the arts can help move things and how it can help you find new direction, new energy, and hopefully shift the darker places that young kids get into. I have personal experience of this, being a dancer myself, and it's quite incredible what the arts can allow. So My Black Dog is designed to have 2 parts. One, which is creating a contemporary performance work with the Fling Company, exploring ideas around mental health of regional youth. And we're looking at building a show with an amazing director called Kate Denenborough from Cage down in Melbourne, and this show is going to be created to perform locally but also tour around schools. Alongside this is an element of research, which is where we're going to go into schools and create a art and wellbeing workshop program, which is looking at trying to understand this issue on a very personal but deeper level. I think there's a lot that we don't know, and that will really feed into the work that we do in our community and with our young people, because we want to help as much as we can, as we all do. So thank you so much for your support. And look, Fling couldn't be here without the generous community that is behind it. So I'm very, very grateful. Thanks.
Thank you. The next one is Grand Pacific Health. I hope I've got that right. Well done. Congratulations. Check for you.
Cheers. So before I start, I'd like to thank the Mumbulla Foundation and Big Valley Shire Council and everyone else that puts into this amazing foundation through the community. This money is going to actually go towards training myself to be an instructor in youth mental health first aid. I'm already an instructor in teen, and I just actually delivered the program for the first time at Lumen Christi this week. So it was really, really well received, and some feedback from parents was about, after their student went through this program, 3 of their friends asked if they were okay, and 3 parents contacted them after school. So it was the teen program is all about encouraging young people to realise that they're the most important support for their friends, but also making sure that they don't take on the therapy role and trying to get them to speak to an adult. So it's about finding, the responsible adults and finding those trusted adults and encouraging them to talk about stuff, because there's so much stigma still around mental health. This program is really amazing. In order to do that program, the schools in the region have to have 10% of their staff trained in youth, and currently we only have access to about 1 trainer in youth mental health first aid who covers from Goulburn to Eden, all the way up the coast, and she's massively stretched. Otherwise, we have to pay for it, and a lot of the time the schools have to release teachers, which is a cost to them, and then we have to buy resources, so it just ends up being a massive amount of money. For me to be able to become a trainer, I can roll this program out free of charge and apply for more grants to get more resources and, increase the capacity of our community to support each other around mental health, okay? Because we know that there's services here, but we also know that a lot of the time people can support each other, before things get too bad. And so this is basically what this money is going towards, and it's amazing. So hopefully, we'll see some real improvements and some real increases in mental health literacy amongst the community. So thank you so much.
Very worthwhile project. Probably an example, I think, of a little bit of money can go a long way. So we look forward to hearing about the results. The Mumbulla Surf Life Saving Club. Well done. Congratulations. Good. There we are. All yours.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Frank David from Mumbulla Surf Life Saving Club. Thanks very much to the Mumbulla Foundation and those that support it for this grant. Some years ago, probably one of the more horrendous days we've ever seen on the ocean, we could have quite easily, Mumbulla Surf Life Saving Club could have quite easily lost 4 of their most experienced lifesavers while pretending to perform a rescue at Middle Beach in Mumbulla. Principally because the radios failed. So the grant that we've got today will go towards supplying the club with state-of-the-art radios, working on the theory that if we're safe, so are you. And thanks very much.
Very good. Look, the next 2 are Southeast Arts. The first one is Uplift application, a series of live performances for patients and visitors and staff at hospitals.
I'll do that one.
All right. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks, Mumbulla Foundation. This is the second time now we've received support. This year we ran our Aboriginal Writers Forum down at Jigamy with your support, which was a fantastic day and a great lead-up event to our festival, which will be on in September next year. So the region's first all Aboriginal Arts and Cultural Festival will be happening down at Jigamy. But as well as supporting Aboriginal arts and culture in the region, we have also recently launched a new arts and health program, and we're really lucky to have Gabrielle Powell as our project officer heading up that program. And so this grant is going to support one of the very first things that we're doing in that area, which is a live music in hospital, and in this case in the New South East Regional Hospital. So next year there's going to be a number of lunchtime music performances in the main foyer of the hospital that anyone will be able to come to. Obviously people who are, you know, visiting people, patients and staff will enjoy that. But I would encourage you to come out, you know, when you see that there's a concert on and just be there, because I think, you know, the hospital is a fantastic venue, and I think it's really good to go to a hospital when you're not sick and you're not, you know, it helps later on when you have to be there. And as well as those performances, we're also going to employ a couple of musicians to be roaming musicians who will be able to go into particular areas or even do individual musical performances for patients. And it's all about the joy and the wonderful feeling that listening to music brings. And of course, the great thing is that it provides employment for you know, some of our fantastic local musicians. So keep your eye on the live music program at South East Regional Hospital for next year. And thank you so much, Mumbulla Foundation, for the fantastic work. It's been such a privilege hearing about all the things that are being supported here. And it's a great planning activity. I know where to surf safely. I know who to contact for the fire. You know, I've got sort of a lot of things tucked away now, so it's a great educational experience for me as well. So thank you very much.
And the other South East Arts one is for, I think, Jigamy at Eden, is that correct?
I'll just explain it.
That's probably a good idea, I think, yeah. Yeah. Well done. There you are.
Thank you.
Check
Thank
for
you. Hello, this is an unusual thing for me to be doing. But first of all, I'd like to welcome you all into the family called the You and Me family of portraits. Very special thank you to Mumbulla and to South East Arts and Jazz Williams, who's not here, who actually wrote the application up for me. And also to the people from Bega Valley Shire Council who encouraged me to go ahead and do this. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit about what it is. This project came about after I'd visited a community in Arnhem Land, Northern Territory. A man from the community posed for a photo, and when I returned home to the south coast of New South Wales, to my surprise I painted a portrait of him. Not having been a portrait painter, it was a new experience for me, and we chatted our way through the painting. It felt like a self-portrait in many ways. Just to make sure I had the details just right, it seemed he spoke to me or somehow made me make adjustments until we were both satisfied with the result. I discovered this man to be Glenn Namunja. It was after this first portrait that I asked Warren Foster if I could paint his portrait, and so the journey began. I had the idea to create a self-funding pool of money that would allow a young person from Yuin Monaroo country to experience the wonder, the generosity and diversity that I'd found in my short trip to the Northern Territory. The people you meet in this new family don't all originate from this area, but live here now. They have stories to tell, visions to share, and are all supportive of this project. My deepest gratitude, love and thanks to all who have supported and participated, not only as sitters but as collaborators along the way. Profits from this purchase go directly to the fund. It took me nearly 8 months to find out who he was, and he rang me up about a month ago. He doesn't hardly speak any English, and he gave me permission to put his portrait into a prize, which is an astounding, like a competition, which is an astounding thing. He won't come because he doesn't want to leave his country. So then we have Warren. And then we have Warren, because Warren was a warrior, but I wanted that one. And then I met the wonderful Marinatma, and she said, oh, well, I'm having the exhibition. And so after that, we've now got, there'll be 20 when they're finished, and there's going to be, the funds will go towards, oh, I just thought you might like to know this young man. You probably know him as well. Do you know him? He says, I'm a Bunjalung, Goramkul, Yugara and South Sea Islander fella who was born and raised on the far south coast. The family I come from are the Mortons, and my old people moved down this way for work. My dad is a Piercy and I'm a white Australian, and is a white Australian who has taught me a lot about hard work and acceptance. I'm unsure of my ancestral ties through him. It goes on, and he says, my hope for my life is to keep walking along this path, making it wider so more people can walk along in love and safety. There's a lot of very lovely words in there. I'm very hopeful that all of the people in this family, and you are now all part of the family, will come to that event and you'll be able to speak to them. So you will have an invitation, and it says on here, please become part of the family of portraits, first generation. Gather with us to celebrate love, family, Indigenous youth, Mother Earth and the common bonds we all share. The people come from Wollongong all the way up to Delegate, that's where they're living currently, but they come from the Torres Strait Islands, they come from the Kimberley, they come from all over, and they're here in our area. And you'll also note that I was very pleased when Mumbulla and the council said, oh no, you don't have to worry because some of these people come from Wollongong. It was quite all right. So help us build a self-funding pool of money to provide opportunities for our Indigenous youth to visit communities elsewhere and reciprocate the invitation to youth in non-coastal communities. And bring your heart with you. So you'll hear about it, I'm sure. Thank you so much to South East Arts for putting it in for me.
Thank you very much. Wonderful story. Well, we've come to the last one, but before announcing that, can I just extend a thank you to the University of Wollongong for allowing us to use their facilities this afternoon. I think they're an absolutely fantastic institution in the Bega Valley. It's run by some terrific young people who do, I think, an outstanding job. And the foundation is very proud to be able to provide 7 scholarships a year to Bega Valley students who attend this particular campus. So our thanks go to the University of Wollongong, but also our appreciation for the fantastic job I think they do in the Bega Valley area. So please join me. Okay, and don't forget, I just asked you to stay behind at the end, if you could, just quickly for a group photograph. All right, the last one is the Twofold Aboriginal Corporation. Well done, terrific.
I wasn't sure if I RSVP'd on time. So my name is Alison Simpson. I'm an employee of Twofold Aboriginal Corporation at Jigamee Farm down in Eden. We provide aged and home care support services to our community, both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal consumers. We're also a registered housing provider. We provide social housing for the community. We're a registered building company as well, so we've recently become registered with building. We do small function catering as well. And one of the biggest things that I'm most passionate about is the cultural programs that we're able to provide to different members of the community, students, preschools and visiting schools. We were lucky to receive a Mumbulla grant last year to provide a cultural immersion program where one of the schools from Albury came and camped on our grounds, and were able to spend a week immersing into the local South Coast Aboriginal culture. We had visitors that come, showed them how to cook local seafood. They spent time with the elders, they done some art, they learned about the Bundian Way, they did a whole heap of a range of things. One of the things that we wanted to do, which we couldn't, was to teach them more about bush tucker and native foods and medicinal foods. So this year we decided to apply for a grant to be able to purchase some of those plants so we can grow them on our land out at Jigamee, so that any visitors, students, anybody that wants to come to Jigamee to learn, we're able to share that with them. We have a commercial kitchen. We provide fresh hot meals every day to our clientele, and we're hoping to incorporate some of the bush tucker into those meals. Eventually we'd like to see some of the community take seedlings and then plant it in their own yards. But one of the biggest things that it means for us is that we're able to share our ancient history and culture with the rest of our community, and that makes us really proud. So I want to thank the Mumbulla Foundation as well as Bega Valley Shire Council for the opportunity. Again, I've been there 18 months. This is the second grant that we've been successful with, so it gives us an opportunity. Being a small not-for-profit organisation, we rely heavily on funds and grants and donations, so it allows us to be able to run projects out of our scope, and yeah, it's going to mean a lot, not only for our community but for visitors to the community as well. So thank you very much for that.
Excellent, very worthy cause to finish with. So that's it, folks. Go out and spend carefully but fully.